What is up, everyone? We are live for another episode of Spin from the Reel. No Chris tonight, but Shug and I are glad to present the first official episode of Allison Salamoni as a member of our crew, or as Shug calls her, Miss Alimony.
Miss Alimony, that's right, because that's how you learn how to pronounce my last name. Thought it used to be really cool to have a last name you couldn't pronounce, and so I went and married someone that had it, and it's not fun. Not as much fun as I thought it would be. Just saying.
For sure. And we're greatly appreciate you being here. And yes, Watt boys and the new Watt girl.
Exactly. I'll take it, Corey.
Corey Cameron in the house, our good friend. How's everybody doing tonight? It's is
this where I pull a buck and say what he said? What?
No, we don't say that. that belongs to Buck for a lifetime.
Buck only.
Yeah, Buck only. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Going to be talking some Schmoedown. Going to be talking some awards. Going to be talking what happened at Schmoedown, and not really the matches. We might touch on that, but we're going to talk about other stuff. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot. So let's get into it. Obviously, our first guest that we're going to have on, has made a big splash this year. Undefeated in singles. Teams was fun. She had a decent season in teams, but undefeated in singles. Made history. Put on a show everywhere she went. New York, spectacular. It was just amazing to watch. It's her second year, and we're really excited to have her on again. She's a good friend of the show. She is the amazing, the awesome Miss Lady Justice, Marisol Mckee.
Hello.
No, hey.
How are you doing, Marisol?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I missed that like in sync. How are you doing? I was just smiling. Hello.
Hey, no, I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to talk to you guys again and to talk with you, Allison, for the first time in the Spin from the Reel environment. This is cool.
It's so exciting. I'm meeting so many awesome people. I'm so happy to be here. I'd say there's something like really bright behind you that's just like glinting in my eye. It looks like a bright gold piece of jewelry. You got
yeah. There's this. I was trying, I had to lug this thing all the way back from LA. I just can't seem to get rid of it. Just can't seem to shake it.
Are you working out each shoulder with it? You're making sure you're getting enough reps with it? Okay.
20, yeah. 20 on each side.
There you go. Perfect.
I will say, Lady Justice, first off, you are working those guns because you had that big ass sword at Spectacular, and my God, I hope it wasn't real because I thought you were going to decapitate somebody walking down the aisle, and I told Chris, you better duck. I'm short, Chris, you duck because
she had that same sword in New York, and when she came out that blindfold on, I was like, who's she poking with that sword? Because I hope she's going to take that blindfold off before she walks down the aisle with it.
Hold that thought one quick second.
All right, she will be right back. William Hurd in the house. What's going on? Jeremy Miller, how you doing, brother? Hope you're having a great day.
Oh my goodness, so many awesome people here. Maddie Gunner.
Maddie.
Yeah,
what up, Maddie?
Maddie Gunner. No, this lady, I think she went to get it.
The Wonder Woman.
Sure, she did.
Wonder Woman.
Excuse me. So fun facts, fun tidbits. So those are two different swords from New York to LA.
Okay.
And there's a very simple reason for this. This is my original sword. This is my sword. This is Wonder Woman's sword. This is God Killer. And this is my sword that I brought to LA because I was not flying to New York because I was in Philly. This was not going to make it on a plane to LA. So
I mean, as someone who's traveled to events like this, the simple solution is buying a gun case and just putting it in there, and you just use it as a check bag. I've done it for Star Wars Celebration.
Before you even get through security.
Exactly. Yeah. You just use it as a check bag. You show them inside. And people. I mean, this as a cosplayer, you kind of got to know this. Mm-hmm. I've done prop weapons, lightsabers, you name it. It's just easy. Gun case, put your stuff in there, do it as a check bag, end of story.
Why do I feel like crying watching Marisol with this belt behind her holding on to her Wonder Woman sword? I'm just like, it's so beautiful.
It is amazing.
I do love this sword. I'm very attached to this sword. I like that. I am totally not gonna use that in the future. Thank you for that. Noted.
No problem.
Yeah, they had a sword waiting for me in LA. And it pretty much looked like Andoril. It looks like Aragorn's sword from.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a Lord of the Rings sword.
It looks like his sword. It, like even the hilt and everything was was kind of shaped like it, except it didn't have the markings on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that sword has about I think like that sword had like 1.5 feet on my
It's a
sword.
big fucking sword.
It was a big sword.
I mean, when you pointed at Griffin Newman, you almost hit his eye. Like
I'm
literally
pretty sure
almost
that
hit him in the
sword
eye.
was as tall as Griffin Newman.
It really
It
was.
very well may have been. And the thing that got me the most nervous, and I was like, the thing that got me the most scared is when I first came out, because I had the blindfold on, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be holding this while blindfolded. And when I came out, like right before when they're introducing me, and I walk in, and I had to like put my sword down and like take off the blindfold. I was like, Jesus Christ, I hope I do not pop somebody with this sword while I'm just trying to take my blindfold off. I was so nervous, and I was nervous.
But if that was me that you popped, I'd be like, I got hit.
Just gushing blood. Yeah.
It's okay. It's worth
I
it.
could just go to a carbon health like Amber did.
Right.
Break your
Yeah,
It's just-
Amber after
it's-
breaking her ankle.
It's just a flesh wound. We're fine.
I was stressing so much about accidentally knocking somebody with that sword when I was trying to come out in LA. And thank God, like you said, thank God I stood far away from Newman that I didn't have to like short arm the sword when I pointed it at him.
That's
I was able to just
intimidating.
hold it out.
Yeah. So I mean, speaking of spectacular weekend, wanted to just ask you, how was your weekend that weekend? You
Besides
kept
winning
the belt.
Besides winning the title.
How was your weekend?
It was half of it was absolutely nerve-wracking. I think I was so clenched up leading up to Spectacular. Half of it was the worst day of my life and like super, super stressful. And joyless and a nightmare, and I never want to live it again. I'm kidding. But it wasn't that extreme. But the first half was I was trying to enjoy LA. I was finally there for a long time. I was trying to enjoy it, but I couldn't. I had the biggest event I've ever been a part of just looming. So the first half was nerve-wracking in a good way. And the second half was butter. It was just all downhill after Saturday. And I got to cut loose and meet so many people, reunite with so many people, meet some faces for the first time in person. That was great. That was great to meet you guys in person.
Chris said he's sorry he couldn't make it, but work got in the way.
Yeah, work got in the way. And I remember the first night, Thursday night, Chris absolutely, we'll talk about Chris because that weekend was
Shug
great.
was so mean to him all weekend long.
Yeah, Thursday night.
So,
Because he started it because he sees Adam Collins across and he just screams, "Mother effing Collins!" Collins smiles at us, comes and hugs us, and then I tell Adam, I say, "Hey, tell Marisol I got the Jaeger shot ready." He started laughing. He goes, "I don't think she's gonna take it today." I was like, "No, I'm joking, but just mess with her." He goes, "Okay," and then she came up to us, she hugged me and Chris, and she's like, "Shug, I'll take the Jaeger shot after I win." I said, "Okay, that's fine." I was like, we'll wait because I don't want to get you all messed up tonight. And that started the whole of me embarrassing Chris. And then speaking of cutting loose, Marisol, Saturday night was crazy. You were actually right there when this happened.
Yeah.
So Chris actually had a great weekend.
This is that.
Exactly. Enjoy the time before.
So I mean, there was one point we had someone go and tap Adam and say, "Adam, turn around. We want to talk to you." And Adam turns and he just sees that and he starts laughing at us. and Adam can't confirm this. Yes, Adam would. That is my new slogan, Adam effing Collins, because it was
Adam
great.
motherfucking Collins.
And I think
That's gonna be his new name.
I think there's a picture of Juice
Coyote.
floating around with
Yeah.
that drunk couple around by him.
It is,
freaking hilarious.
Juice is
Taking a picture of the Kodak.
No, it's his wallet. It's not even.
It's his wallet, and we're all
Jesus
dummies
Christ.
posing for him like idiots. And
I'm glad I
That
was
is what you
sober.
call.
yes, Chris. Yes.
That is what you call a free show.
Maddie Gunner says that couple. They were trying to fight Dwayne. Like it got real.
They
Like,
the chick.
That's my reboot.
Reboot. Adam motherfucking Collins.
What's up, Amaru?
Hey.
So obviously it was a great weekend, and so Marisol, like, what was your favorite moment in LA? Like, what was the moment for you where you just? I mean, it could have been winning the belt. It could have been watching that couple, or watching Chris freaking vibe
Wishing
out.
you saw Chris do that live.
Yeah.
Man, it's really hard to say. I think the most special moment out of the whole weekend was just the moment where I was there with my faction, when I was under that bear hug, like when they all dogpiled me on the stage, and it was just like the Niagara Falls of relief. It was just like it was exhilarating. It was such a great moment, and I was smothered by all the people who have become just such close friends to me, and that was the highlight of like the whole everything that's happened, like even more than the moment that I actually like won the belt and winning the belt and everything, and defending it again, was
Throwing
that
that
euphoria.
in there real quick, just defending it again, real quick. I love it.
just a second defense. Was the euphoria of sharing that energy and that feeling with all my friends at that moment.
Yeah, for
So
sure. And I
awesome.
saw it. I saw it at the end of the match live, where you answer your 3-pointer. I actually have a video. I'll have to send it to you. And Adam's in the chat. Me and Chris are sitting next to each other, and they say horror. And we all know Adam's a great, big horror fan. So me and Chris look at each other. We're like, motherfucking Adam Collins. Here we go. And then you answer the question, but you like just went ham. Like you celebrated, and it was awesome. And to then see you afterwards, and just the relief that came off your face, you just seemed so like, oh, okay, I can relax now, because a lot of people going into that match were talking about Griffey and Rookie of the Year and how he was.
I don't know any of those people that were saying that at all.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
And you were, and you just shut that down. You shut that down real quick. You played tremendous. I think we go back and look at that Paul Yama match with you. You can just see like how much you've grown character-wise. And I remember we talked about this a long time ago now, it seems, where you told me, you said, once I get into my own, and you told me this privately, you said, once I get into my own, you'll see the difference. And I said, okay, we'll see. And by God, you live by your word, because you have absolutely grown as a player, as a character, and within the community. So I just want to give you your congratulations. You've done amazing. And I
think
really
it's super important to note
shit.
you're
Thank you.
the first female of color to not only hold this belt, defend it, and then defend it twice. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. Like, I mean, not to like put more pressure, but like, what is something like that feel? Like, how does knowing that that's you hold that first title, like, what's something like that mean to you, or how does that make you feel?
It pumps me up. It stokes my fire like nothing else can. Like, that's why I keep getting. I can't wait to do this again. I can't wait to play my next match. I can't wait to try to defend again and to defend again. And like I had said in my promo, which this is sometimes where I wish you could see like the uncut like things of like some of the promos we do and stuff, because I had a lot to say in my promo for Spectacular, and one of the big things that I'm happy that they kept in was just like was me saying like I'm not done. Like, I know it's really, it could be so flavor of the week. That's the nature of this thing, that what we do. But like, yeah, like my story isn't over, and that's really what got me really pumped up going into Spectacular, because I was ready to just keep the train rolling. Like I want to keep, like, I'm not content to just be sitting on like, oh, I'm glad I, crossed this barrier, broke through this ceiling. Like, I guess my work here is done. My work is not over. I still want to keep winning, keep pushing forward, keep blowing this open for everybody, like whoever you are. And
everyone better
women,
keep wearing
everybody.
Yeah, you better keep wearing your shoes, because you're just shattering glass ceilings left and right, bringing in brooms, man. Like it's awesome. It really is so cool, especially with something that is so heavily male I think I've actually got to talk about this with Video Drew on like a different stream that I was on, but it's like, for something that is so heavily male dominated, to have women like you, like Paige Betty, Video Drew, Lightning Liz. I mean, just the list, former champions like Rachel Cushing. It's so awesome to just keep seeing so many just badass women come in here and just dominate left and right. It's amazing. Like it's so cool. Like, this is I'm so excited to have this moment right now to like finally get to really sit and chat with you. Just because I came in during digital, so all I know is digital. All I know is I came in during digital. I came in like June, so it's all still new with me. Paulina, I love Paulina so much.
Go Birds.
Have people to have competitors like you that are there, that I can just be like, yeah, that chick is bad fucking ass, like killing it. It just makes it so much fun to watch. Yeah. And to like be a part of. And I know I can't answer movie trivia questions, so I'm like, well, if I can do this, I can feel like I'm a badass in this whole
right.
Well, Marisol, Chris may not be here on screen with us, but he is here in the chat, and he does have a question. Does Marisol have that Black People to Schmoedown photo that was taken at Barney's? Who has
it? Actually, the blackest one of us all, Adam Collins.
What?
I'm pretty sure Adam has it. I'm pretty sure. I need to confirm. I need to confirm. I'm pretty sure Adam took it.
I remember he took it.
He did take it.
Know who,
we gotta. It's got to do its circuit.
Yeah,
and then shout out to Jeff Alterman being in the house.
No. Chris has it right. It's Paulina's husband quiz show.
Paulina's husband, yes.
That's how.
Wiley Todd, what's up, man? William Hurd, also Jeremy, Maddie Gunner, everybody in the house. Adam Collins, our favorite. Now, my question to you, Marisol, is the whole weekend you were in LA. What did you eat? What did you eat? What was your favorite food? Yeah, what was your favorite spot in LA?
I ate so much trash in LA. I mean, like trash, like I mean that not like bad food.
Not good for you food is what you mean.
Yes. I was not good to myself, and I loved every second of it. And maybe my favorite, I finally went to I don't know what my favorite was. I had finally gone to a fun diner called Fred 62, which, God, I don't know anything about where things are in LA. I would love to tell you exactly what street or which part, but everything was so new to me.
Might be able to tell us.
Maybe I haven't heard of it, but if it's a diner, or is it like a themed diner, like an old diner?
It's not really like a themed diner, but it's more like a breakfast diner. Okay. It was recommended. It was recommended from a few competitors, and it did not disappoint. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of what else I ate that was like, I don't know. That was it. That's the most memorable I think I had.
Okay, I figured you were going to say I thought you were going to say In-N-Out.
Oh my god! I forgot I went to In-N-Out Burger.
Okay. all of you guys. In-N-Out
is overrated for me, but I live in LA. Like I eat it.
I want there to be, because I know Christian's talked about the possibility of an Ohio live event. I want there to be one so I could take all you motherfuckers around to catch all this amazing food like Melt Bar and Grilled. Quiz show and his wife can speak on Barrio Tacos because we went there. Swenson's is the burger joint. Swenson's is the place for burgers.
I love a good
Chris
burger
can
joint.
actually confirm Swenson's is a place.
Jacob London ate 17 Domino's pizzas while in
I just
LA.
want Adam
More than
Collins to sit in our chats with every one of these episodes and confirm everything he saw or heard or with us. This is my one of my favorite parts of this whole night right now.
Right?
I can confirm
He
this.
can
It's
confirm
great.
everything.
I hear you
But-
with that because like when people, it's like when for Philly, it's like with cheesesteaks where everybody's just like, oh, Pat's and Geno's, those are which are two separate places. It's not Pat's and Geno's, the cheesesteak place. They're two separate cheesesteak places, but people are always like, that's where you got to go if you come to Philly. That's where you got to go. And when you're from Philly, there are other places. There are other places. Sure, you'll get a good cheesesteak there, but I think if you ask people actually who are from Philly, you'll get different answers as to what they actually think is the best and their favorite cheesesteak places. But Pat's and Geno's is the one that everybody says. You know, Pat's and Geno's are the two that everybody says you got to go to.
If I go to Philly,
I hate In-N-Out. So when people are like, I want to have In-N-Out, I'm like, it's In-N-Out's overrated to me. So I want to go to the trashiest cheesesteak because I'm in dessert cheesesteak place there is in Philly that like the locals go to that like people say is on like the shady side of town but has the best cheesesteak. I can't talk tonight. Cheesesteaks ever where like
well that's where you usually got to go to get them. You got to go to the hood. You don't have to go to the
I want to fear
all
for
the
my
best
life.
food is in the hood.
I want to fear for my life getting the
They're not the
world's
tourist
best
center. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's where I want to go.
Let the three minorities on screen tell you the best place to go for food is always the hood.
Perfect.
I told Allison when she comes to LA we're gonna go to a taco spot. We might get shot. It happens, but it is.
YOLO.
We'll be good.
I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time, baby.
But Marisol, I have a question for you, and that is, I know a while back the standard for an automatic title defense if you were to lose is 3 defenses. You're 1 away from that right now. How does that make you feel? Does that put more pressure on winning that next title?
Yes and no. The most pressure always comes from myself, and that's what I was really talking about when I was saying before the match how much like I was like before the match because it was the pressure that I was putting on myself, not from an outside, but because I was putting that pressure on myself, and I was also feeling the weight of which I knew it would come down to. I was like, great, the whole year, the faction war, everything is going to come down to my match. I knew it. I was preparing for that going into Spectacular, and lo and behold, that's exactly how the evening folded out. So that was weighing on me a lot. Everything that my friends have been working for that season, to have that come through, that kind of pressure was weighing on me. I think that going into next year, a lot of those elements are going to be gone. I won't feel that as much. There was a lot of weight. It was kind of hitting a fever pitch there, right up there, leading into Spectacular. And going into next year, the next match I play, which I guess will be my next title defense. Like I said, I'm more excited than feeling the nervousness and the pressure. I'm just excited to, like I said, keep setting some new records, keep pushing it forward, keep this going, like that's adding more excitement. That's pushing that to the forefront more than all the pressure that was there before Spectacular. So that's where my head's at.
I respect that. And I know,
yeah, for sure.
A few, me and a few other people noticed, like, out of all the competitors, you were one of 2 people who were like missing in action before the event even started. Like, people saw you go in, and then they didn't see you otherwise, and we were like, "Oh yeah, she's prepping. She's prepping."
If somebody even like caught even like said a sentence to me, you would have gotten, I don't know, like you wouldn't even have gotten me. You would have gotten some like automatic voice message, like answering,
Can Adam also confirm this?
Yes. I was so
laser
tunnel
focused.
vision in the zone.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been helpful for me, but I also nobody deserved to see me not not ready to interact with people. I was quite in the zone. One of my favorite, what I thought was really unique and funny to me about it was that right after my match, when I came back downstairs, I was going right through like the quiet area where Smets, where Kevin was just getting ready to come out. I'd come down right after my match had ended, and he was the same, which you probably heard stories of this before. He was the same way. He had been down there, but then I had popped through just quickly just to make it to the other room, and so I saw him in the corner, just like in it, like 100% laser focus, almost like I was like, oh, I should not be here. Like I'm gonna try and find the fastest way out of this room, because you can just tell, you can see that look in people's eyes when they're just so ready. He was pacing, he was getting himself, he's such a pro, he's such an ace at everything he does, and he was so in that zone right before he went. And I was like, that must have been, I mean, not on his level, because he does things that I can only hope of doing. He's so great. But that must have been what people kind of may have felt like seeing me. And now I felt a lot more normal after I came out of that match. And when I saw him, I was like, that's the feeling. That's the tunnel that you're in right before something like this. And I was definitely there.
And I gotta ask,
sure.
with with now, like, again, now that you have with still holding on to the belt, so when it comes to matches, how would you say what the feeling is, the type of feeling they have between like prior to winning the belt, the amount of like that we with the matches, everything is greater in between now that you have it versus when you're working towards getting it? Do you feel any sort of pressure to like really stay on top of all of your studying and everything, or do you feel a little bit more lax with it since you already have the belt? Like, what's that kind of that off time like for you compared to when you're like really prepping for these matches prior to like winning the belts originally?
I actually relish more time in between. Everybody's got a different way that they function. Some people like to stay sharp and stay in it and always stay on. Me, so much about how I've absorbed film, how I've absorbed information about film, a lot of trivia over my life has been such a gradual process that is where I'm like more naturally suited. That's where I retain the most, is when I have time to let everything kind of sink in. And I've always been that way, and I never stop. Like, the thing about Schmoedown is that Schmoedown is just me in a more heightened version of my normal self. Like, everybody's like, you know, it's easy to think that, like, especially the more intense focused players, really competitive players like me and Adam Collins, like, it's easy to typecast us as people who just study and like just started studying to be good at trivia, you know, in this environment once they entered the Schmoedown. No, my entire life, I've been constantly, part of what I enjoy about movies has been constantly absorbing information about them. I was a super geek for IMDb and box office data when I was a preteen. It's my hobby. It's what I'm interested in. I'm a dork. I used to make spreadsheets of my favorite quotes and release years for some of my favorite movies when I was a teenager.
I love that.
That's
I
not dorky.
love
That is
that.
awesome.
I used to like
That's
catalog
amazing.
the things about movies that I
You're a money
enjoyed.
ball system before anybody else.
I mean, exactly. Like, learning things about film has always been just a yin and yang to watching films for me my whole life. It's been part of what I enjoy and how I engage with film, how I engage with cinema, and my love for it. And so when I entered, the Schmoedown was just such a natural fit. I was like, well, I hadn't really thought about competing, using that knowledge and competing, but it was just such a natural fit, like going into the Schmoedown as a competitor. First off, falling in love with it, and going into it as a competitor, I just kind of amped up, accelerated a lot of habits and things that I was already doing my whole life anyway. So it's not that crazy of a jump for me. And it's not, that was a long-winded way to answer your question.
I love it. No, that's great.
It's great.
I've recently learned, as like going from like a casual just movie watcher to doing all this getting into Schmoedown and everything, to where like I now go watch a movie and I'll look at my husband, I'm like, so this could be like, we were watching Prince of Darkness, and I'm like, okay, so we got a John Carpenter flick now, and then we could go with this. It could fall under this category. And I'm like, this is at least a 3-category film that you could find. And my husband's like, I'm so upset I showed this to you. I'm so disappointed in myself right now.
Really quick, Adam Collins says, I can confirm Marisol Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of our noisier faction mates, into a coat rack prior to the match when they offered her a stick of gum.
She was like,
"Get the fuck out of my face."
She was like, my breath don't stink.
And then,
yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Chris Anthony Lopez says, since the MTS is going back to pre-taped vignettes, I'm going to need Lady Justice's court on a bi-weekly basis. Please and thank you.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. And we have, just a couple more things for you before you get out of here, Marisol, because we know you gotta get some other things to do. But one of the things I did want to ask you, match-wise, was that 2-point still, and how confident he was when he said Nicole Kidman. What was going through your mind when he did that? Because that was the swing of the match.
Yep,
We can everybody can agree that was
where the match shifted.
Yeah. I that happens. I cannot tell you how empathetic, but like also like evil, like mustache twirling I was doing right at that moment. Yeah, I was like, hee hee hee.
In your head, did you go rookie mistake, Newman? Rookie mistake.
Not even rookie mistake. Like, dude, I will get into it in a second, but like, I had a lot of like, oh, that sucks, because that happens. I do that. Everybody does that. People who've been playing the game for like 6 years still do that. It happens. I know he's well versed in Efron. I know he know that was Shirley MacLaine, but it happens. Even the vets of this game, sometimes you answer too quickly, sometimes you jump the gun. I think even, I would guess, who knows, maybe he even could have had Nicole Kidman like stuck in the brain because I just spun it. It happens. It just sucks when it happens when in a match when you're trying to win. I think a lot of competitors can relate to that.
It's like his own version of Smetz's "Don't Tell Peter."
It happens. Oh God, yeah, it happens.
Oh.
And I was also at the same time on the receiving end, though. When you're on the receiving end of a moment like that, it is pretty sweet. And when I heard him say that answer, I was just like, oh yes.
That's like the worst, right? You feel like a jerk, but you're like, thank you.
look, that's the nature of competition. You love your competitors, you respect them as people, but when you respect them and you respect who they are in competitors, you also want to win. And that's absolutely what I show up to do every single match I play. I am there to win that game. I do it because I love it. And I take a lot of pride in it, and I want to be successful in it, and that I want to win. I want to do my best. If I do my best and I lose, I'm going to hold my head up too, because I have nothing to be ashamed about if I did my best and put myself out there, but I also want to win. And that was a good moment. And look, slips happen. I had some embarrassing mistakes myself in that match, which they didn't look as obvious because I'll say this, when a competitor misses a question in a match, the assumption from the outside is like, oh, they just don't know that. Oh, they don't know that. I cannot tell you how many things in this match. There were 2 questions just at Spectacular alone. And there have been a handful of others this season already. And I know I'm not the only competitor who goes through this, where I knew that. I know that is information that I knew and had in my head. And you just can't, the Rolodex, it just doesn't come up in that moment. I had a couple misses in my match at Spectacular that were things that were some of my favorite movies, that were things that I've known for years. And I drew a blank. I drew a blank in that moment on stage. It is crazy how that happens. And you don't realize that that's something that can happen until you're answering questions like in a match, in a high pressure match. And they do happen. And I think a lot of competitors can relate to that. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's I mean, let's be honest. I think because New York was, from what I heard, was pretty solid, right? There was a good amount of people. Spectacular was
insane.
Packed. Yeah, Spectacular was packed. And I think the highlight for me was obviously getting to talk to you, hang out with you. Also, talking to Rachel Cushing. Yeah, ruining Christmas weekend, but talking to Rachel Cushing and how she told me how proud she was of you and Nikki and Paige and all the new, Peggy, everybody, and how much you guys have picked up and how, she was so excited with you. And obviously Nikki could possibly winning the Star Wars belt. How is, I just want to ask, because there is a picture of you and Rachel. How is that for you? Personally, because I know Jen asked you after the match, but how was just that personally after, being there and seeing her and hearing all this stuff? How was that?
It is really, really, really hard to put into words. And I wasn't going to say that, but I need to say this. I need to say this because I think it's just really important to talk about something that's hard to describe, to make it to be an example of something that's really hard to describe. Rachel Cushing is one of my favorite, is one of, if not my favorite, I'm just gonna say she's my favorite player to ever play this game. I have like my like top 3 like absolute favorites, but pound for pound, the one who has influenced and I relate to the most and has impacted me the most and inspired me the most and even becoming involved with this is Rachel Cushing. And I met her in person for the first time at Spectacular. And I met her for the first time in person, literally moments, like seconds before I went out on stage for my match. And how it was overwhelming more than I could really ever say because of what you were describing, Allison, what women intuitively feel, even if they can't articulate, like I'm not about to not be able to articulate. But it's difficult to describe and just something that women inherently feel, radiating and feel between themselves when they look at each other, and they feel this indescribable sense of support and pride and connection and unity that reaches beyond across everything, that we are I don't know how to word it. But
it's like standing on the shoulder of giants, right? Like she kind of started this whole badass women in the Schmoedown. Like she's like, when you think of women in Schmoedown and you think of like the Mount Rushmore of women in Schmoedown, you know that you got Rachel Cushing on there. You're fucking on there with your double title defenses and how amazing you played, so it's so like, I think what you're feeling with meeting Rachel is kind of like what I'm feeling right now, getting to talk to you and what you've done for why is it every stream with you guys I cry? Like, what is this going on right now? Like, what is this?
No,
but it's huge. It's a huge thing for, I think, just women to see in general, watching each other and supporting each other, because there hasn't always been that. Especially, oh Jesus Christ, this is the hardest I've cried. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? So like, I get what I totally get what you're saying, because it's one of those things where you already have enough pressure being in something that is so heavily dominated by men, and you're just kicking ass over and over and over again. And it helps pull in, I think, this other audience that I otherwise probably wouldn't have gotten so deeply involved in if it wasn't for the presence of just such incredible women that are doing it. And for you have Rachel Cushing, and for me, I'm a dodo and can't play trivia, but I'm going to watch and cheer for Marisol and for Nikki DeMolanta and for all of these incredible women who absolutely deserve to be here more than anyone else.
Yeah, it's hey, I get it. It's hard. It is. I'm sorry that I can't describe it better, but when you're around that circle of inspiration, when you feel that radiating off of you and realize how much we all impact each other, men or women, like really at the end of the day, how much everybody can make a difference how touched people can be by things that we think are silly, like movie trivia, but like it represents so much more than that. It represents how we conduct ourselves, how we relate to other people, how we find confidence in ourselves, how we push ourselves to become more part of the world around us, and try to inspire other people to do other things. When you're around somebody, when you meet somebody who created those feelings in you, and you're part, and you feel like you yourself are becoming part of a cycle, continuing the cycle of just touching people and influencing people and keeping that moving. When somebody has passed it on to you and you feel like you're privileged enough to be passing that on to other people, it's really hard to describe, but it's extremely overwhelming. And I felt that like to the moon and back when I met Cushing in person, and I want to just keep that in mind in everything that I do. And she was the most inspirational thing I could see right before I went out on stage and defended that belt.
Yeah, Allison, Marisol was not losing that belt that night after that moment. I think
of course
she
not.
knew
okay,
it.
Look, in my defense, I knew who Griffin Newman was versus knowing what the movie Trivia Schmoedown was. And I had a bad take for him winning 2 belts. Okay, I will admit it. It's fine. But I was happy any other way of how it went, because I also got to sob in the New York audience when Marisol defended against Chance. So it's fine. I was right up front. I cried. It was amazing. It was the most beautiful thing ever. And then it was even more beautiful when it happened to Spectacular. Stop it, Suge. I'm not Chris. Quit calling me out.
My bad. Well, before we get you out of here, Marisol, there is like one more question I do want to ask you. Who was your favorite fan to meet at Spectacular?
Oh no! Don't
not you, Shug.
Like this. It's definitely not you. It's probably Chris.
It was probably Chris.
Oh,
no, it could have been somebody else. It could have been somebody else. I'm not,
But I'm just saying. Let's be honest here. With how Chris was all weekend, everybody's favorite person to meet was Chris.
We never actually did that Jaeger shot, Shug. So maybe
no,
if I were a Jaeger,
yeah, because you know why? Because I saw you at the bar afterwards, and you were having a great time, and I said, "Look, if I buy us a shot of Jaeger, it's gonna keep coming, and then we ain't gonna make it out that bar." Because I know we were hanging out all night.
She might have ended up.
You had a good amount of drinks. I would have bought us that Jaeger. We would not have made it out that bar. Me and would have been done. So I thought I
would have ended up at Denny's with all of you guys at 3 o'clock.
I was like, no, yeah. I don't know if you noticed. I ended up at Denny's with me and Chris. Ended up at Denny's with Gold Leader, Rager, Thomas Harper, Saul, and Kaiser.
And then you all left Saul at Denny's.
Then we left Saul at Denny's at 3 in the morning.
Jeff was supposed to go and help him get a Uber back, and then Jeff ended up. I don't know how he ended up not being.
It was a crazy weekend. But Marisol, thank you very much. It has been a great season. You have been awesome.
You're a fucking.
I want to say from the
Marisol.
bottom. Yeah, I want to say from the bottom of my heart. Getting to talk to you last year, us hanging out in the back after we did a show, and you just telling me like what you were gonna do. It's been a privilege to watch you do this, and I am so happy for you, and I cannot wait to see you more live events, to see you defend and just become, the best all-time great player. I appreciate you. I know Allison, Matt, Chris, Spin from the Real, we appreciate you for everything you've done and you're going to do. And just thank you for always, coming on our show, giving us the time of day. We really appreciate it. You're amazing. Thank you for talking to me at Spectacular when you didn't have to. You absolutely made my weekend. So thank you very much, Marisol. We love you here.
And we need that black people in.
Hold on. No. I have it.
Hey.
Nice.
That is a drunk photo.
Oh, that is.
There's an arm in it. There's a hole in the middle of it.
Probably the only sober
So
person in
good.
that photo, if I'm gonna be honest, because I know Dwayne was drunk. You can see on Chris's face he's drunk. I know Winston was drunk. Chance was definitely drunk.
So it's probably
I mean,
Janine
so
and
happy.
Marisol are probably the sober ones.
I didn't have a single drink, bro. What you mean?
Oh,
That is
my bad. Pardis was also there. My fault, Pardis. I forgot Taylor's girlfriend too. My bad. But yeah, Marisol, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming on. We hope to see you
Finally
during
meet
the
you, Marisol. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah.
No, that really means a lot. I appreciate all of you guys.
Hope to see you at awards where you were Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I have no control over it. I've done all that I can do, and I it's the will of the people at this point. I'll be chill. However,
Yeah. So if it's the will of the people, everybody out there should be voting for Marisol for Player of the Year, Singles Player of the Year. She's undefeated. You know, I know everyone's gonna be like,
"She'll cut your promo for you. Don't even worry about it."
Oh, don't. I can't cut promos. But Marisol, thank you very much. And before you leave, can you let everybody know where they can find you, socials and all that stuff?
Yeah. I am now with the downtime, like I was saying before, I'm going back. I'm continuing what I always do, which is watching movies constantly and learning more about them constantly and discovering new movies, which makes me the happiest in my life. So I do that on letterboxd.com. Yeah, letterboxd without the E, just X to D. My handle on there is the same as my Twitter handle, which you can find me on there too occasionally. It's Marisol _Miriah, MIRIAH. I may pop up around there on the internet, and then you can find me when you come to Philly. I'll buy you a cheesesteak.
There we go. Is Video Drew's Lord of the Rings thing tonight or tomorrow?
Oh shit! Oh, that's right. Hey, look at you, man! I need a manager. Shit.
Shannon,
Don't you have one?
be off
Free?
season.
Shannon's on off season right now. She is on off season. She is on off season right
Shannon
now.
deleted my phone number after Spectacular was over. She's like, "All right,
done with you in February. I'll deal with you in February."
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I am on Video Drew's channel this Thursday. This Thursday night, there's going to be a video chronic quiz for Lord of the Rings, just the Lord of the Rings extended versions. So if anybody, I'm going to compete in that, and anybody who loves Lord of the Rings should pop in. It should be a good night. That's this Thursday night.
Adam Collins can confirm Scrooge's tonight.
I can confirm though, so I don't believe it. It's not the full sentence. I need the full sentence.
But Adam Collins is amazing. We don't know. We don't know whose arm that was. We have to go look at everybody's tattoo to find out who it was. But again, Marisol, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate you. Good luck and have a great off season, relaxing, eating Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and chilling. You deserve it. You are the best, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Marisol.
So nice to meet you.
All right, and look at that.
Perfect, Adam. Appreciate it.
Marisol Mckee, everybody. I mean, you're talking about one of the best.
What a gem.
Yeah, she is simply amazing. Now, the guests keep on rolling in, going from one champ to another. This man made waves at Spectacular, not only defending the belt, but went a little heelish. And I said, I think he'll get this reference. To me now, he's like the Sergeant Slaughter of the Schmoedown, where he went from being America's hero to now everyone is upset at him. So I think he'll understand the reference because I think he did like wrestling, and that is the Major Thomas Harper. How are you doing today, sir?
Didn't Sergeant Slaughter back the Saddam Hussein?
No. That was the Iron Sheik. Don't worry.
He backed Iron Sheik, but no. He's right. When it was the Desert War, he was backing him. He was like, I don't know if he was really backing him, but he was like, yeah, and then he
real
made
different
the boots.
Army JAG officer to be compared to Sergeant Slaughter. Good job, Shug. Good job.
I kind of
demoted on a baseline, but his heel turn took like a dark.
Well, I mean, you're not going too dark. You're not going too dark, right?
I keep telling everyone with all these streams we keep. I keep telling with all these with these streams that we keep coming on that I'm set to make you my new best friend. I feel like I hang out with you more than I hang out with my own husband.
That's Chris's best friend.
Well, Thomas, before we talk to you about Spectacular and all this stuff, I do want to say we've been hearing you going on different podcasts and talking about this whole rookie thing, and we got a couple sound bites. one where someone asked you like, well, you played a game like, what do we play the game for? And this was we heard you say this.
Hello, you play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
And then another person asked you on the podcast. They said, well, we want to crown Griffey Newman the Rookie of the Year. And, this was what you said.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
And I can see the passion there, Thomas. You really, really
so proud of this right now.
I am. So, no, but Thomas, I'm just messing with you. How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. That was that Romeo Crennel? I feel like he and I sound very similar.
No, that was Dennis Green.
That's right.
Dennis Green. Dennis Green was the Cardinals versus the Bears when the Bears were undefeated, and they almost beat them, and then they lost. And Dennis Green went crazy on it.
Yeah.
No, how you been, champ? How's not studying going?
It's weird. It feels like an appendage has been removed, but not necessarily one that you're worried about losing. It's like, oh, there goes my left arm, but I've still got my right arm. It works just fine. I'm cool.
We're good. It's fine.
I'm gonna warn you. I'm gonna say a controversial statement in a little bit. I'm gonna save it till later in this conversation, but it does involve Harper.
Adam Kahn says, I want to see Thomas Harper wear a tank top over a t-shirt next season. A la Sergeant Slaughter.
Get the drill sergeant campaign hat.
That was the bit, Chris. That is exactly what that bit was.
It was. I have some more, but we'll wait. So I mean, let's talk about it, Thomas. So where are you going to vacation after defending the belt?
If we call it Fort Home Camp Couch. And on the TV, at least until December 29th, will be nothing involving Star and Wars.
What are you watching?
I've watched Dune, watched Jungle Cruise. Just you pick.
I got an issue with that, Thomas. Just no Star Wars, not even the holiday special. It is Christmas time.
We'll get to that. I'll make time for that. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
I was just about to
Who
say.
am I?
Who am I if I'm not on point?
And shout out to the singles champs. Big salute and cheers to the defending champ.
Salute to my not just the singles player of the year, but the player of the year in my book.
I don't know, Thomas. When you talk awards, like it gets controversial.
All the conversation.
Yeah.
Look, I'm happy to we can get around to talking about that. My view on it is you can't rely on anybody to advocate for you but you, and you're your best advocate. So I'd like to think that I walking into all of this or walking out of Spectacular, I'd like to think that the gameplay spoke for itself, but apparently not entirely. So that's okay.
Apparently, there's been some Twitter fights, and I think William Hurt has come up with the absolute hill. Sergeant Slaughter burned Hulk Hogan's t-shirt, waving around like a flag when he was a heel. Thomas should do that to Gold Leader's jacket.
Yes.
Do you know that jacket is probably made of the most flammable material on earth? Like the whole,
I think the
whole
issue
venue would go down.
We would need to be really careful that he doesn't set it on fire with Gold Leader wearing it, because I could also see that almost happening.
I mean, he almost killed him a few times this weekend, or the other weekend. So
exactly
last weekend. So.
And
you guys,
did we ever find out Gold Leader get into his room?
He did. He broke the door.
That's good.
But you guys, I have huge news. I studied today to learn about Starfighter or Star whatever. I don't know the fucking word.
Why?
So that's what we're getting to is then I let Thomas Harper know that by doing the studying, by listening to said podcast, I realized that I still don't know shit about Star Wars. And I'm just going to go ahead.
Very, very proud.
That's how everyone feels.
I'm just going to go ahead and agree with him on Y-Wings, because what else do I fucking know?
You just let it happen. It's okay.
We just let it happen. Until someone convinces me otherwise, this is just what we're going to do.
I'm that way in many aspects of my life. My wife tells me, like, this is the best of whatever. And I'm like, you're the expert. I trust you implicitly. So you just have to accept it. That I'm right.
You could give me a completely different ending to any of these Star Wars movies, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. That's exactly what happens. I agree. And then I would go and tell everyone because that's the kind of dumb I am. But it's fine.
Yeah. I think Allison sent us the screenshot of that, and I was like, should I listen to this or?
It was good. It was good.
We made nearly a full year without listening.
Yeah, I was like, should I listen to? Well, because I'm not versed in Y wings. Like X-wing is my thing.
X-wing.
What's the one? What's the one that looks like a T? That thing.
A B-wing?
Yeah.
Why is it a B-wing if it looks like a damn T?
I don't know. Because it's inferior.
Oh,
I mean, the A-wings just look like circles. So
oh yeah, see, look at Alan Smitty. Why are B-wings not called T-wings? It's confusing. Exactly.
I'm with you, Alan. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. If it was a B, if it was like it looked like what's the stupid Imperial one that drops bombs that look like
the bomber? The TIE bomber?
TIE bomber? Yeah.
They make it really difficult.
Yeah, come on.
Thomas for making me feel stupid right now.
Are you coming after this?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you an X-wing.
I gotta get back to it. Excuse me, I gotta leave the study.
No. I will not be coming
after
that.
Spin from the Real is turning into as a Star Wars study session.
That's what it feels like it turns into whenever Thomas is on, though. Let's be honest. Thomas is on. All right, we're all about to learn something about Star Wars.
Exactly. Star Wars was my brother's favorite franchise. I was more of an X-Men guy personally, but my brother, he had original.
Chris Savage on his break at work right now.
Don't overthink it.
God, I hate you, Chris. So Thomas, with the holidays around the corner, what's like your most anticipated Christmas gift you hope to get this year?
Oh man, uninterrupted time to watch The Mandalorian. Just peace and quiet, and I can turn it up as loud as I want to and watch Boba Fett just destroy people. It's
so good.
No Star Wars, but till December.
I know. If it were on tomorrow, I would binge it.
We're Star Wars adjacent. It's okay.
I would binge it. Yeah, I don't know.
I hate all of you guys. It's a B-wing because it was designed in the first.
All right, Saul. This is the kind of nonsense that I have to put up with Saul in training sessions. He's like, "Well, they could ask about it." I'm like, "Yeah. Technically, you're right. But no, I'm not committing that to memory, Saul."
I love it. That's hilarious.
No, but I mean, since Spectacular, how's everything been, man? How have you been?
I've been good. It's still surreal. It hasn't sunk in yet. It kind of feels like time froze, and like it. I tell you, like holding the belt now feels like I feel finally entitled to it. And I don't mean that in like a pompous way, but I mean that like I came out of the digital match against Andrew. Like I was on vacation when it happened. The match just ends and I'm just like sitting there and like I have to go put my girls to bed. I'm like in sweatpants and like that's it. We had like a faction call and like but nobody's there and then I kind of quietly celebrate with my wife so I won't wake up the kids. And that was it. And then you see everybody playing so phenomenally in the tournament and you're not playing and you're like, do I deserve to hold this? I mean, like, that match could have gone other. I mean, like most Star Wars matches could go either way. And so I didn't feel confident as a belt holder in spite of like what I was projecting outwards. And it was very important to me, win or lose this match, to come in and play at or above my standard to meet the sort of question marks that people had about my gameplay and my character work and this and that. I'm not the first, nor will I be the last person that fans like have question marks. Not like, I don't mean that in like an attacking sense, but like anytime you're playing well, people are looking for ways to be like, well, is he that good or is she that good, or is there like an aspect of their gameplay that's a kink in the armor? And so I had no choice but to just kind of drill down and hope that it all worked out. But after Spectacular happened, after the win happens, after I felt like I answered the mail on every single thing that people had wondered about in my game plan presence in this league, I came home and I tell you, when I put the belt back on Rex, it was like a really proud moment. Like, nobody's here. I'm not like broadcasting or recording it. There wasn't like a moment where I'm like unboxing it with the kids or anything like that. But I put it back on and I was like, that was a hell of a lot of work to put it right back where I took it off a few days ago. But now it feels meaningful, and I won't hold it forever. But now I feel very much like, you're not any belt holder in the Schmoedown, anybody who has ever won a belt is in elite company, but to get that defense meant a lot, and to get it against somebody that is not only as good as Nikki, but who played as crazy good as she did, not just all season, but in this match, like that was validation, and that felt good. And win or lose my next match, like, that can't be taken away from me. And so I'm happy for that. If the book closes and I never hold the belt again, like, I'll be satisfied with this feeling.
The question that I have with that is, when you put the belt back around Rex's waist, did you cry? Because I would.
No, I thought nobody's going to want to see this sitting behind me if there's not a belt around it. That's the only
Pretty
thing.
You talk about if you ever lose the belt again. I think someone that's coming after the belt is Brendan. Hello there.
Let me say this about Brennan. Let me say this. I listened to that man rightfully win the FCL title in October. Yes. In October, and his belt is not in his hands yet. The entire community needs to stand up. He has spoken loudly. He has done what he needs to do. Get this champion his belt. He earned it. It should be in his hands. He's answered the mail and given what he needs to give. Get that belt in his hands. None of us hold it forever. And this is time that is being taken away unfairly from him, holding this, having it in his possession. And he worked just as hard as anybody in the MTS or the FCL to earn it. This ain't kayfabe. This isn't like Thomas, like playing around like jokey. This is like, get him his belt. So if you're listening to this, no shade against the current the former belt holder there, but put it in a box, go to the post office, go to UPS, ship it off. I know how this stuff works. They make it easy for you. Just do the right thing. He won the match. Get the belt. If you're in this space, put some pressure on this thing to happen, because I can tell you that after I won the belt, as passionate as Andrew DiMolanta is about this game, he answered the mail immediately and got the belt over to me. I wouldn't have batted an eye if he had taken all the time in the world that he needed to sit with it. If he had stayed a month with it, I wouldn't have batted an eye. But he did the professional thing, sent it to me. The same respect needs to be accorded to Brennan. So I didn't intend to go down that rabbit hole, but it really, really irks me that this is happening in the space here. So.
Absolutely. No, thank you for saying that.
If you've gotten your belt, Brennan, and I just went on that tirade and it's already in your hands, then
Brennan's holding the belt. He's like, I have it.
What is he talking about? Jeez, somebody tell him. No,
I think Brennan is talking about your belt that he's going to try to take from you. He says, "Thank you, Harper."
You can't have two. What are you, greedy, Brennan? You can't have two.
He's greedy. He's greedy for the belts. What do you expect?
That'd have been hilarious if Brennan popped up in the chat and was like, "No, I already got it, but thanks anyway."
I would tell him to lose the FCL belt, but I think they're gonna whoever is in the FCL next season is gonna have an Everest to climb to get it away from him. I have watched Brennan play over on the Outlaw Nation throughout the season, and getting to see him play in the FCL has been a special treat. But he's no joke. He knows his stuff. That speed round, Brennan, you navigated in that FCL championship match, that was top tier MTS level stuff. So there were no punches pulled in that one. So congrats to you, champ.
Brennan is very awesome, very special. I've gotten to know him over the last year, and yes, absolutely. Let's get Brennan his belt to him because he deserved to have it. Yeah, we're gonna make that. We're gonna make that trendy.
I'll go break Twitter again. Is that
no?
Yeah, right. There you go.
Just put the belt in the mail. Just put the belt in the
Put it in
mail.
the mail. Just put it in the mail. It's not that hard.
Right. So, I mean, when you were here in LA, Thomas, I know you were really focused. I know. It wasn't until after you defend it. Yeah, Thomas. Look, I'm going to say this.
Alan, I have
Thomas,
spies everywhere.
like, I'm going to
you
say
worry.
this, and Thomas can agree with me. He could, people watch anything that you talk about them. They watch entertainment. If you say something about, they come looking to see what you said. I have learned this very much. They keep eyes and ears on everything we say as fans. So don't think that nobody's watching. Everybody's watching. I have gotten DMs at 8:00 in the morning from people, especially the creator of this game. Trust me, people watch.
Yeah.
But while all jokes aside, Harper deserves the belt. Yeah.
Oh,
He does. Until Brandon wants to come take it.
Until you pry it from my cold dead hands.
You
You got to get in line, my friend. There's a lot of hungry people. I hear
a lot of people coming for you.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
I
There's
hear
a lot.
people are locked and loaded.
They really are. I talked to one of them at the bar that we were at. But what did you get to enjoy any kind of LA food or sightseeing or anything?
Besides Denny's at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but besides Denny's at 3 a.m.
Denny's kept me alive this weekend. I tell you, I got in Thursday with hopes that by Saturday I would be adjusted to the West Coast time and everything. I was jacked up the entire weekend. My body clock was all off. My appetite was off the entire weekend. Credit to Kate. Kate kept me alive. Like I cannot sing her praises enough. But whether it was, hey, what food do you need? I remember texting her very early the morning of the match, and I said, I'm kind of locked into some stuff right now. I really could use a couple things because I don't know what the food situation is going to be. And I want to kind of carefully manage my energy. Can you get me these things? Not even a question. And in an instant, she's like, I'm on my way. I'll get you the stuff. A little bit later, she knocks on my door, full complement of snacks and drinks and stuff to keep me held over. So the random assortment of food that I did eat, besides the Denny's this weekend, Kate kept me going. That was a big reason that I was able to perform the way I did.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Kate to death.
And
go ahead,
we
man.
do have a question from Chris Anthony Lopez for Thomas because he's at work, so he couldn't be here right now. And that is, now that your Rookie of the Year season is officially over, is there anything you've learned about yourself throughout this whole journey? What a year to start in the MTS.
That's a good question. I appreciate that. You don't have to pat me on the back there, Chris. We're friends now. We've met in person. It's okay.
You're my Rookie of the Year, Thomas. Don't worry.
Thomas, I'm sorry. The guy who gave out buttons said I legally have to vote for him.
Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you that that's the unlawful practice of law, and he is not just wrong, but I hope he realizes he's actively siphoning off votes. He's like when a third party candidate comes into a political race, he is sabotaging his own faction mate by doing what he's doing. And the thing that he doesn't realize is he's joking, and there are people that are actively well, I guess
like that.
You know
where those votes are coming away from? Not from me, Daddy-O. Those votes are coming away from your faction mate, Griffey Nooms. So when and if, and I don't see how there's any debate, and we can talk about this stuff later if you want, but I don't see how there's any debate on Rookie of the Year. That shouldn't be a close vote at all. But you're sabotaging your own faction mate. So if that race goes against your faction mate, there's only one person to look at and blame this for, and it ain't me. It's that ridiculous American bathrobe that you have there.
What have you learned about yourself, Thomas?
I mean, that bathrobe, I wish I had that bathrobe. That bathrobe was kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like Thomas learned he can cut a damn good fucking promo.
If you haven't learned that already about Thomas Harper,
greatest pro. Honestly, I mean, we're all talking about Rookie of the Year and all this. Yeah, we're talking about Rookie of the Year, all this stuff. Honestly, Thomas has one of the best promo cutting, and then he's got a guy named Saul in his ear who probably can tell him some things to say. But No, every time I hear Thomas talk, I always tell people, I just get quiet and I listen because I really feel he's trying to talk to me and tell me, because when he said I said this, and me and Chris confirmed this, we're at the spectacular, and when he did the Pledge of Allegiance, me and Chris whispered in my ear, he goes, he's talking to us, Shug. He freaking knows he knows that we're,
Not me.
We're just rooting.
Stayed with Harper. It was all you two. That was all on you.
No, I didn't pick a winner of that match. I wanted Harper to win because he's part
Coward.
of the band, and I call me coward. I don't care. I didn't do it when he played Andrew. I'm sorry. I don't want controversy in my life. But
Your name's not Allison Salamone.
no, it's not. I think going back to the Rookie of the Year stuff, and we could talk about it, Thomas, because hang
on 1 second,
Sure.
Shug. I don't want to derail you, but Chris did ask the question. I just went
go ahead,
left field and didn't answer him. What I learned, I think the most important lesson that I learned at Spectacular, and it happened before we came out when I just interacted with Nikki and Andrew. I think this season at times I have gotten way too wrapped around the axle. I've gotten, this game brings out a lot in people, and in me at times it brought out like this raw competitiveness that like it is and isn't me. Like I'm competitive. Like I, like to think that I bring a certain work ethic and a certain passion and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I've never been the type that's like, winning is all that matters and like win at all costs or anything like that. But at times this season, I think when you're like up at 4 a.m. studying like fucking Star Wars and you're like sitting alone, the stress of that moment and stuff, I think it can affect different people in different ways. And I didn't like the way that it affected me sometimes this season. And what happened pre-match at Spectacular was that Nikki and Andrew and I just talked. We just were, I didn't know what the pre-show was going to be, but I remember my wife telling me before I took off and headed to the airport, she was like, you just need to be Thomas there, right? Like whatever they do with the character and that stuff, that's fine. Like that stuff is on a separate track. But like if you're not you're gonna like spiral, you're not gonna have fun, and the trivia is gonna falter. And I had that in the back of my mind, and so I was like very nervous walking over to the Globe, like I'm gonna see people. I was like really sequestered. I didn't go out and see anybody from the moment I landed until match day. But I run into Nikki, I run into Andrew. They're nothing but kind. And it was at the point like down the green room where people were like, you two aren't supposed to be like talking and smiling with each other. You're about to play a match in like a few minutes here. And we're just kind of like joking and stuff like that. But it brought me back and reminded me why I wanted to play this game and why I started doing Star Wars trivia in the first place, which is just like being up, whether you're in front of two people, whether it's a computer screen or an entire arena crowd like that, you're just answering Star Wars questions. You're just having fun with a franchise that in my case I've grown up with and I love, against somebody else that shares that love and has that skill level. That's what kept me coming back to the meat grinder that is Dragon Con. That's what made me want to get into the Schmoedown. I lost and got off that path at times during this season. I think digital and that space was sort of a tinderbox for that sort of thing. But I want to credit and thank, I don't know whether Nikki or Andrew will ever watch this, but I've told this to Nikki directly. I want to reiterate it like out loud that she brought me back to a place of like pure enjoyment. And had I lost that match, because it could have easily gone another way, as good as she was playing, I would have walked out of there happy that I was back to a place of like enjoying myself. And that had more to do with her and how she conducted herself, how she holds and carries herself, and the attitude that she brings to this game than it did. The fans were great. Like meeting y'all, Allison meeting you in New York, like all that is like amazing and like life-changing. But at the end of the day, if you're so wrapped around the axle because of the person standing next to you or on the other side of the computer screen, like it gets to be not fun. It gets to be not fun. It gets to be toxic, and it gets to be like not a good positive force in your life. And, you know, in a way, that match sort of pulled me out of some of the darker places that I had been this season and whatnot. And, you know, I'm very grateful for that. And I didn't mean for that answer to get like real emotional, but like,
no.
you play an entire year. I mean, you go an entire year doing this stuff. I mean, it started with like interviews with folks like you guys in January, and you play 12, like, well, in my case, like 9 full months of matches with 12 full months of prep. That grinds on you. It really grinds on you. And, you know, to have it end in that way, win or lose, to finally come back to a place of like enjoyment, that was the most meaningful moment. That's what I taught myself, that I can't operate in that space. The Schmoedown and Thomas can coexist. Like the Thomas that loves this stuff and that has fun playing it, and that is like, so I lost. Oh well. So I got a question wrong. Oh well. It's not that big a deal. At the end of the day, it's stupid trivia. That Thomas still exists. That he hasn't been snuffed out or replaced with some uber competitive like asshole. And I'm glad to have gotten back to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I get 100% where you're coming from, because I think everybody in this space who does a podcast as fans, this was a lot of matches we had to cover this year, and doing it week in, week out. And there was a lot of people just talking about, man, I don't know if I want to do this again because it's so much, and the grind, and having to, you know, and it's probably 20 times worse for you than it is us. We're just the fans. But I think for me, and I know maybe I could speak for Chris Anthony Lopez, was when we went to Spectacular, watching it live, ending up at a bar, ending up at a Denny's at 3:00 in the morning, made us go, you know what? This is still fun for us. It's still fun to come in here and have a laugh with our friends, talk about it, you know, and you know, be, you know, give our opinions. You know, I think sometimes it does become a little too serious, and we're like, oh, you know, we got to be right about opinions. And I think for me, Chris, Matt, even, you know, and Allison, now that she's new to the space, we're gonna try to make it more fun. I think we're all of us. We had a conversation last night, and we're gonna make it more fun, because that's what the MTS was all about, was having fun. That's why I love it, you know, because I'm a competitive person. I love sports. I'm competitive as hell. And I think you're right, Thomas. It got to the point where you were just over competitive about, you know, doing shows, talking to people, and it got real not fun. And we had this conversation last night with Chris. Want to get back to having fun, having a good time. And that's why, you know, today, talking to you, talking to Marisol, you know, we had different questions. It wasn't the same old, oh, well, let's talk about, you know, the match. No, let's talk about what you're going to do for Christmas. What are you going to do for vacation? What did you eat in LA? You know,
what was your favorite?
That's also why they brought me on, because I'm fun as fuck.
She really.
Look, and speaking of fun, I just have to put this out there, and I feel like I've told you this multiple times, Thomas, but at that New York event, there was nobody in that crowd having more fun there than you. Like, this guy, just the big, I mean, because he's also not competing. You had just, I think you had like just gotten the belt. Yeah, like you had just won the belt, like, or at least the match had just recently aired where you won the belt. So you're literally just walking around. He's got the belt in between like the pre-show and when things started. He's jumping on stage and like trying to take like a big selfie with everyone in the audience. It's just like the nicest, happy. I don't think anyone had more fun at the New York Live event than Thomas Harper.
And I appreciate that you noticed that. People like seem surprised, like, you know, oh, he's going around everywhere with the belt. I was like, in all likelihood, I'm going to lose this thing in December, so I'm going to like damn well make sure I live it up with it now. And
it's like how hockey players treat the Stanley Cup. They all get like a week with it or something like that.
I went and got Taco Bell for dinner tonight. I would have let it ride in the front seat with me. Like, are you kidding me? I'd be like, oh, by the way, did you see this?
Yeah. Oh, it's this. Oh, let me tell you about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Hold on. Let me switch shoulders real quick.
I mean, Thomas, can you confirm that Saul doesn't have fun doing this? So none of us can.
Oh, have you seen Saul play? He takes a tour of his house every match to get good internet. He's all over the place. Every match is a fun house for him.
You never know what room you're gonna get.
No, Tom. So I got a question for you, and this is not Schmoedown related at all. This is: have you upgraded your game system yet for the Star Wars Eclipse game that's about to come out?
No, I have not. And it was I didn't even know they were dropping a trailer. I didn't know this thing was in development.
None of us did.
It's like a complete surprise. So yeah, I have not upgraded yet. I haven't played a video game. That was another thing. I think that you asked about a Christmas present. I asked my wife. I haven't played a video game in a longer than it like pains me and upsets me to admit how long it's been since I've just sat down and like for a few hours just played a game. And I was like asking my wife for a video game or two. She was like, "A video game? You haven't played that in a while." I was like, "That's the point. I'd like to get back to it."
My husband stayed home.
Wait, what do you play? What do you play, Thomas?
Man, the last game that I played through Fallen Order was one. I played Red Dead for a long time, and then I was late to the party buying the remastered Skyrim. That was like one of my favorite games of all time.
Ooh, and Thomas, we can talk.
What system are you on, Thomas?
I still got a PS4. I haven't upgraded yet.
Oh, you said PlayStation. You just broke my heart.
Skyrim is my jam. My nephew was like telling me, "You need to buy this game." I'm like, "It looks stupid. I'm not gonna play it." And remember Redbox, so I rented it for $4. I plugged it in at 8:00 at night. By 8 in the morning, I had to go to work, and I was like, I called out of work.
Late fee for it.
No, I kept it. I just ended up buying it off of Redbox, and I now that I have the Xbox Series X, I had the remastered.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. When I heard Skyrim I love Skyrim.
I don't know if you guys know this about me with my gaming. I've collected all of the fossils needed in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So
there you go.
Just saying. I don't need any more fossils for my museum. So
I'm not an Animal Crossing person. I was gonna buy it. Should I buy it? I don't know.
I don't play. That's all that I play. Like that's it. Like, and I don't even play that. I get on like once every 3 months, and I'm like, oh, look at all these weeds, and I go and I pick weeds. I've been doing that lately, and then I'm all done.
I played for about 3 hours last night. I played Apex. I think honestly, Thomas, I want to play COD with you because I want to see if you actually call out stuff and like start yelling at us. Like, do you guys not know how to shoot? Go to I don't know how people talk. And
my favorite video game moment. And this is like a little non-traditional, but at Disney World, they in downtown Disney or Disney Springs now. They up until the pandemic, they had a place called the Void, and it was like a VR experience type deal. So they had a Star Wars game. I forget what the actual game name was, but it was Diego Luna reprised.
It was the Rogue One one, right? Because they showed
us.
That was the Rogue One game that they showed us at Celebration, right?
Yeah, it was based in that universe, but you're part of this crew that infiltrates. I think Mustafar. You go to Mustafar and have to steal this artifact. But anyways, so it's a full VR race. You get the helmet, you got like a backpack, you end up getting like an actual blaster rifle at some point, and you're undercover as stormtroopers. And there's a moment, so my wife's playing it with me, and we're with like two randos, like another couple that we don't know. And there's a part in the game where it's a puzzle, but you're having to one person is punching in this puzzle, trying to get this door open while everybody else is covering you while stormtroopers are attacking. And I was like, I'll do the puzzle. So I'm doing the puzzle. And no sooner had I started to do that than my wife is like, and my wife is also in the Army, but she went into like full officer mode and was like directing fire. She's like, you two, like take that field of fire. Like I turn around and like all I see is a stormtrooper, like her character is a stormtrooper. She's like, pop, 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 like full, like in full mode.
Tom's just like, and I've never loved you more.
I was like, can we get done? And we're like all sweaty. I was like, can we go renew our vows like right now? It's amazing.
That is awesome. That was awesome.
Not that actually inspired me to get the PSVR. I was like, can I recreate that? Like, if we can do that again, that so
That is
a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Like, we'll bring up Chris Annie Lopez's question right now in a minute. But speaking of video games and Star Wars video games, like, what's your favorite Star Wars video game? Mine was Shadows of the Empire on the 64.
Nice.
I love that game. I love that
Classic.
game. What was yours? Like, what was your favorite Star Wars video game?
Mine's so I have two that are tied, and they're both equally awful. But one was called Rebel Assault 2, and you can go. It was a full motion video game. They had a full cast, and the basic plot line was the Empire has developed what's called the TIE Phantom, so a cloaked TIE fighter, cool as hell, like looking starfighter. But it was going to spell doom for the Rebel Alliance, and your character is literally named Rookie 1. As corny as that is. You're just like a skinny white guy, and you have to infiltrate and like steal a TIE Phantom so that the Rebel Alliance can backwards engineer and figure out weakness. The game is horrible. The hitboxes on it are awful. Like, some of the levels are damn near impossible. But I was like 10 or 11 when this game came out, and I played it endlessly on our computer. I was just sitting there with sweaty palms, like, oh, let me. And so you can go on YouTube and see like basically cut together cutscenes from the game. It's so corny, but that was like the love of my life. And then on PlayStation there was a horrendous game called The Masters of Terrascasi. Yeah. So it got brought back into canon. The fighting style did in Solo, because Kira mentions it. But it's this like cheesy like 3D fighting game. They were like ripping off of Tekken. Because the camera kind of awkwardly rotates around the fighting ring. But one of my best friends growing up, once we unlocked Vader, who's like they needed to nerf Vader. Like, Vader was way too overpowered in that game, but he would always pick Vader, and he knew it would piss me off. And then they do these little like catchphrases at the end when you win, and Vader's was like all too easy, and he'd kind of like do this like weird like he'd do this like weird sassy shimmy. But my buddy would like throw down the controller and be like, all too easy, and it'd like set me off every single time. I'd be like, mother.
Oh,
like, rage
Thomas,
quit.
I don't think you should have said this, because if someone beats you for the belt and
all
then
too
says
easy.
that, oh my,
bring it back. Yeah.
Also, you just see Thomas out of nowhere just clock him.
No, rage
They
quit the
ask him-
MTS.
It's like asking Gold Leader if he's ready.
William Hurd, KOTOR, Smith.
You have a higher grade taste than I do.
Yeah, Smets worked on KOTOR, and
Nice.
did like storylines on KOTOR, and William Hurd, Rebel Alliance.
I think it was the online one.
Rebel Assault was a bomb, not the.
Was the Jedi Power Battles, Galactic Battlegrounds on PC, Battlefront 2 on PS2. Those were my favorites. I tried to get into Battlefront, and I couldn't really get into it. Again, I like Star Wars, but it's not my thing. But Shadows of the Empire, my brother had bought it for us, and we beat it quick, and then we tried it on hard mode, because at the end, when you fly into the thing and like you're trying to get out, it doesn't tell you if you get out. You have to beat it on hard mode to get out. And I got pissed because IG, I don't know, I think who's IG in the original trilogy? He's 88, right?
88.
Yeah. In that game, and you have to get Boba Fett's backpack, he freaking kills you all day. You can't get past him. And I used to get pissed off. So I was like, nope, easy mode for me. Going back to Chris Anthony Lopez's question. Another question for Thomas. Looking ahead to season 9 a bit. If you could change one thing about the Star Wars division, what would it be? And no, you cannot say no, Gold Leader.
I would reverse the impending change of the division shrinking. I would reverse that change. I think the infusion of talent has been nothing but a good thing. I agree that the matches need to be scaled back. I think that's going to happen across the board. But you could scale it back so that Star Wars matches are a little more meaningful and set up storylines around them and stuff. I think that would be good. I think it makes the belt matches a little more meaningful. I think every belt match this year had significance, but the season as a whole felt like one big tidal wave. Like by the end, people were just like, "Oh gosh, thank goodness it's spectacular."
Yeah.
I would mix up the wheel round. I mean, and this can be done without expanding the division and adding any content. I would either get rid of the movies entirely on the wheel or make it available. So turn it into singles where you can, players can try to put slices on the wheel. One of those, like maybe a max of one, could be a movie. And maybe you have a max of 2 movies or 3 movies on the wheel, and everything else is just like rando categories, kind of like pulled from round 3 or even round 1. So like Star Wars Underworld or vehicles, weapons, and tech. I think that would be cool as hell to see a crazy wheel like that. The FCL's done a little bit of that this season, and I think it's made for like really great matches, and it would inject some strategy that just doesn't exist right now in the division.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we talked about this before. I think Andrew's talked about this, because then it would be crazy, because if you, let's say like you is like, oh, we know his strength is wheels, weapons, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's be honest,
Thomas
the wheel
just does
runner,
a slice of just Y wings.
Y wings only.
dude, just kills it.
Y wings
Like,
only.
like,
I don't
let's
know.
be
One of the only questions I've missed this season has been a Y-wing question. So.
like let's
I don't like
let's
them
be
anymore, man. I'm
honest.
out.
The spin of the wheel in Star Wars is so anticlimactic, because it's like,
yeah, just whatever.
Like at the Spectacular when Nikki got mixed bag, they talked about it's just like, well, it's just round 1 all over again. Like,
yeah, very true.
So if now you put character slices, you put
Planets.
like could you imagine like Thomas is like a whiz at like Luke Skywalker or or Vader, and like they go into some deep dives there, like, and then you catch somebody off guard with like, oh, I give them Yoda. And it's like,
yeah,
oh.
well, suddenly there are potential bombs on the wheel, and,
yeah.
And it becomes, the thing about having the movies is that it allows your brain to kind of click into a gear and be like, okay, well, I only need to think about Empire Strikes Back right now, and can filter out everything else. Mixed bag, like you've just come from round 1 where you're answering questions like that. So even mixed bag, depending on the question set, it can just feel like more of the same from round 1. But if suddenly you're like, I have a lot of difficulty remembering quotes or blaster types, and suddenly I land on vehicles, weapons, and tech, it's like, SpaghettiOs. Like, okay. How's this gonna go?
Could you imagine if there was a Who Said It in Star Wars slice?
No.
There has been.
Ooh.
There has been before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at overall accuracy of round 2 slices, that's right at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now it hasn't been on the wheel a ton, but it's very, very poor, low accuracy.
Did you get to pick the wheel at Spectacular or no?
No, the Star Wars players don't get to pick the wheel.
Well, I didn't. I picked either. It was my choice, spinners and opponents.
Yeah,
was
okay.
on the wheel. Yeah,
That's
but
what I was
nothing
asking.
else.
I'm sorry. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
So Star Wars and IG don't have a say over what
Correct.
they put on the wheel.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but they can pick
Interesting.
spinners or
That's the only say they have, and that's to whoever's favored.
Okay, gotcha. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that would help with the Star Wars division and everything like that. Again, I'm biased. The Star Wars division has been the best division for me for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
last 2 years. I think it's been one of the best.
I think what you would inject in there, apart from the strategy, is some more breathing room. The walking out of Spectacular, I think the consensus, rightfully so, was that my match against Nikki was phenomenal. Like, that was great, but the Parker Kalinowski match was the match of the night. It, like, from
I disagree
for most folks.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there were a lot of folks saying that. My point in saying that is that there was wiggle room, and that this was the case with, to a certain extent, teams, but with the singles match as well. There was wiggle room for players to breathe and go back and forth. The IG match had a lot of that. I mean, I don't know that I've seen a match with as much back and forth and punches landed both ways. But Star Wars just doesn't have that. I mean, we had the bonus question in mind, and then it really, like, that gets wiped out before Nikki answers another question. Then we're square. And then it comes down to the speed round, which is thrilling in a way, but it's high stress on both players, which is fine. Like, that's what we're there to do. But it also, I think, breeds this mentality in fans. They're like, well, there's the bonus question. That's going to be it for the whole match. And, like, that's not fun. And as a player, I like the more fun matches that I've played have been ones where there's like a little bit more breathing room, and that hasn't been much. But like the Ace match, like high stress match, but like that was a fun match to go back and look at because we trade punches in round 1, 2 and 3 are perfect, and then we're slugging it out in sudden death. And I think that's more thrilling than like a duel to the death where first person to blinks loses.
Yeah.
We actually just got a Streamlabs in, and it's from Brodney. And it says, just want to say, love the show. Y'all keep doing great work.
Thank you,
Aw,
Brian.
thanks,
Appreciate it.
friend.
Shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take.
Yes, sir.
If you are a sports person, check out their podcast. They have a great podcast. They cover the Ravens, though. That's the only reason I have to give them crap.
And the Panthers.
But nobody really covers the Panthers. They're just there.
But
You
no,
know?
So I have a fun question for you.
Sure.
Thomas. Outside of anything that says Star and Wars, what would you say is your? I just want to what's your favorite movie outside of like Star Wars in general? If you could just like put it on and just zone out.
It's a great, probably either Terminator 2 or Aliens, which are basically the same movie. Like James Cameron just did the same thing in 2 different franchises, but those movies were big for me growing up and are still a lot of fun to watch. Like Terminator 2, I could watch that right now.
Oh, when she comes out and she's just jacked after the first one, just like yoked.
I'm not
That's
this
what
helpless.
I want to look like one day.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton is how we all aspire to be.
But we all aspire to be.
Yeah, no, those are 2. And like what was great was on the plane ride back, I did just that. I have Terminator 2 downloaded on my phone. I was just like, well, I'm not gonna even think about Star Wars right now. Let's just watch some robots beat each other up.
I think that's a clearly Big Trouble in Little China in our house.
Yes.
If you can't, tell by both of these posters. So you're an Aliens guy, not over Alien.
Yeah, I like Alien as a horror movie is great. I'm not so much a horror type person, but Alien's just so good. Michael Biehn, badass Sigourney Weaver, just like the perfect movie for me.
And then I always forget his name, but he was in Weird Science. Bill Paxton. In that movie. He
came over, man.
Came over, man. I love that. All did that.
How do we get out of this chicken shit outfit?
He goes, I'm telling you, it's right. They're right there. And then that shot though, when Bean looks up and just sees them all crawling. Oh, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
In front and behind.
All right. I know where Thomas has to go soon, so I'll get this controversial statement out of the way. Honestly, I think if he defends his next tournament, his next title opportunity, he is in the argument for GOAT of Star Wars.
I'll say this, and I don't say this cockily. I say this like just if you objectively stack things up. I think if anybody else not named Alex Damon had accomplished what I accomplished this season, it'd be a GOAT conversation, not a Rookie of the Year or Star Wars Player of the Year conversation. So I like if we're just looking at take names out of it, right? Take my name out of it, take Andrew, take Griffey out of this. I've got the second most wins in the division, second only one behind Alex.
Only one behind Alex.
Only one behind Alex in one season. I've got more wins than Andrew in a single season. I'm tied for the longest win streak in the division, and I'm sneaking up on the longest win streak in the entire Schmoedown. I've done all that with the highest accuracy, not just in the division, but the entire movie trivia Schmoedown. And I've held that consistency over 6 matches. Like that hasn't slipped. Again, if you go back and look, I've got the most perfect games of in a single season of anybody. So 4 of my 6 matches and 2 of those being in 5 rounders. People like to talk about like close games and things could go either way. The difference with the major is that when other players are stepping up, all too often players, when faced with a gold leader, when faced with a Nikki Demolante, they crack and they crumble, right? They miss, they slip. You saw that, and this is not a slight against Griffey Nooms, but you saw that in round 2. I guarantee you, against anybody else in a non-title match, Griffey gets that that bewitched question any day of the week. But under the pressure, in spite of all of his knowledge and experience, he slips. He makes quite frankly, a rookie Schmoedown mistake. Doesn't take his time. But I've been able to withstand the pressure of that. And when it's been required to go perfect, I've gone perfect. I've done just that. And nobody else has done that. There's not a single player in this division or anywhere else that has done that so far. And that's just an objective fact. And there have been multiple points throughout this season where people have asked questions about like my gameplay and my potential. It started before the season with, well, this is a DragonCon guy. How's he going to adjust to the Schmoedown? How's he going to adjust to the rules? I think I answered the mail on that resoundingly. You saw that in the Nikki match, right? It would have been all too easy to take a swing in that match, to forget where the points were, to forget the cushion that I had, and to take a swing on that New Hope question, get it wrong, and hand the entire match over to her. But I took my time. I burned 2 of my 3 JTs in that round very intentionally, and played it out and came out of that. Those were the 5 hardest questions, other than Damon's 5 in A New Hope, that have been asked all year. It just is. There's just there is no other harder set. So I answered the mail on that. Then the question was, well, the difficulty's ramping up. How's Harper going to deal with that? Deal with that, right? The meta is changing. They're starting to ask about actor questions, and they're drilling down deep into these movies. The stuff is changing, and he's not played since August. How is he going to deal with that? I go perfect on the biggest stage, and I pitch a complete game. I start the season with no experience. I play a perfect game to start against a guy who plays a career, the game of his career in Adam Wentz, somebody who has no right to be to be winless in this league. And then I finish it in December with a perfect game live on the biggest stage of the year. I tell you, there are 2 people who have won it spectacular in the Star Wars division. Their names are Alex Damon and Sam Whitwer. And arguably, Sam Whitwer played in a very, very different version of spectacular than exists today.
And
so
Alex's
there's only
a couple title matches were in a very different version of the Star Wars division than it is today.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. That's out of his control, right? So when you boil it down, there's only one person that's done even close to what I've done, and that's Alex Damon. And it took him, and this is again out of his control, just the way the Schmoedown was operating. But that started back in 2017. 2018 was his first spectacular victory. I'm able to condense that, run the gauntlet, and do it in a full season and play from start to finish. I proved I can play digital in a digital match on a big stage. I proved I can play on the biggest stage. And then the question that's lingered the entire year is, what about character? Harper's wooden. Harper is a droid. He just answers Star Wars questions
on a whiteboard. What's he gonna do without his whiteboard?
Yeah. Do you know how many people knew what I was gonna pull out of my hat when I walked out with the uniform and the camo? Probably about 5 people. Christian didn't know about much of any of it. Mark and Ken were as surprised as anybody to see what I walked out with, and it was very important to me to deliver on that aspect. So the bottom line here, I don't care what you're discussing here, and none of it is a slight against anybody else's season, what they've accomplished. That's not what this is about. This is about like being objective and looking at this stuff. Nobody has pitched a complete season. This is when we're talking about like things like Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year. These are entire year awards. This isn't an award, or they shouldn't be focused on a match or 2 or something like that. It's the complete package because it has to be. Nobody has delivered a complete performance as I have in this league, who has walked in with the kind of pressure that I didn't create and withstood that pressure the whole time. It's easy to exceed expectations. It's easy to walk in and have people doubt you and exceed those expectations and blow them out of the water and take and rightfully so revel in the fact that you prove those folks wrong. That's a great position to operate from. It's part of Ace's very mantra as a player, is that underdog mentality. That's a position of strength to operate from. But to constantly be on this pedestal where everybody is waiting to see you fail, everybody is waiting to see you bleed, and to watch you make a mistake, and to look them dead in the eye and not blink for the entire season for 6 matches, that's never been done before in the Schmoedown. Never been done in this division. And to anybody that rolls their eyes at the Star Wars division, there's a reason that not a single player outside of Adam Witt has attempted to come into this division and have any success. And Adam Witt, for as good as he is an example of just how hard this division is for anybody, much less a multi-division player.
Absolutely.
So that's
Speaking facts.
That's my 2 cents on it.
He just made literally my entire argument for me. I only added the little.
We got 2
I thought he was
things
missing.
because Chris has a great one last question that I'll read off in a second. But I also need to point out that if I ever need to make a phone call for a lawyer from the jail cell, it's gonna be to Thomas Harper.
Oh,
Absolutely.
We're talking Schmoedown?
Real quick.
Yeah, before you ask
That's
Chris's
Chris.
question, which of his own matches would Harper submit as a nominee for, I'm assuming, moment of the
Match
year?
of the year.
Match of the year. Sorry.
I don't think I think I'm not in the running for I might get nominated for this, but I'm realistic that there are like phenomenal matches out there that are more deserving of that title. I like to think that Nikki and I put on not just a performance but a show for the audience. It recaptured the fun of the division. It was lighthearted. It wasn't this like bam, 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 we're like going at each other's throats, but it was fun. It had character work. It was finally live again. We haven't seen a live Star Wars match on stage since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we worked together to deliver a really, really fun product. And I'm really, really proud of what we both did in that match. I'd like to see it nominated, but I'm not kidding myself that there are other like incredible matches that probably stack up a little bit better for that award.
Right.
Facts. And then go ahead, Alimony.
So Chris's final question is, does your wife ever call you out for cutting a promo on her when you get upset at the house, or does she ever cut a promo on you?
Chris, you'll realize this when you get married, but inevitably your spouse will be a promo machine. My wife is the better Army officer. She's the better lawyer than me.
Oh.
I
You
might
guys
be
are
better
both
at,
lawyers?
We are. Yes.
Wow.
We multiply. They breed us in a lab, and then you split. You
And
pour
you're
the test
a
tube.
defense attorney, correct?
In the Army, I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
The Red Cross, I do other stuff. But
I mean, so that's how the argument. That's why the arguments get heated when you buy new stuff that you've told me about.
Yeah, I keep it. When I took my daughter to the first ever toy show that she went to, and it was like looking at a couple things. I was like, now, don't tell mommy about this. I will deliver the news. We're not going to not tell her, but I will choose the way in which it gets delivered. And she runs into like, mommy, daddy got a big thing. I'm like, no.
So what I'm kind of hearing from this, and though we didn't really let you fully answer, is that you got your promo cutting skills from your lovely wife.
Yeah. I hold no candle to her. Let's be honest.
All right. And before we get out of here, Thomas, wanted to ask you real quick. Our final question. I asked Marisol this, so I'm gonna ask you. So, who is your favorite fan to meet at Spectacular?
And New York.
It's a real loaded question, I think.
No, because I told Shug, everybody knows the answer is Chris. Like how Chris was last week, everybody knows the answer is Chris.
New York was a cool moment with Allison, just because it was like I don't see, and I think a lot of players are like this, champs or not champs, but I don't see myself in any sort of special light. I'm just like a person there that is like answering trivia questions. And so it's like, it's fun, but it's a little unusual to have like the sort of reaction that we get and stuff like that. But it was like a fun moment because it was like I was not in the actual like event hall, and Allison comes up, and then like Christian of all people is the person that ends up taking the picture. So it was just like this funny, like really special moment. Like you were so genuine, and it was just really, really neat. In that
I also
moment.
was like 3 Pinot Grigios deep at that point, not to mention all the beer that we had at breweries prior to that. So like walking out and seeing, 1, how much of a giant you are, and then 2, being like, oh, that's what a belt looks like. I think I was more excited about seeing the belt in like my first
That's
ever
fair. That's
live
totally
event.
fair.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's totally fair.
Like, belt.
When Thomas walked out at Spectacular, Chris leans over and goes, "God damn it, Thomas is a freaking toy action figure." I'm like, right? Because Thomas is tall, he's jacked. Yeah, he's just jacked, and we're just like, good Lord. And then when I walked up to Thomas to say hi to him, he like grabs me, and we kind of get that homie hug. And I'm like, God damn, Thomas, you a thick man, dude. Relax, homie. Like, it make me want to go lose weight.
That's what the Army does to you.
To answer the question, my favorite fan that I met was Gold Leader. He was very humble. I was like, you don't have to ask me for an autograph. Like, I'm certainly not going to charge you for an autograph. Like, yes, I will take a selfie. No, you may not hold the belt. That's reserved for special people. It's okay.
Like
Nothing
Allison.
against you. But it's like, yes, I do. He asked me to compliment his jacket. I said it's nice. It looks very flammable, but it's nice. But yeah, it's good to mingle like that. To take.
Thomas, are you saving that other entrance you told us was a possibility for if that rematch happens later down the line?
We'll see. He's got work to do, so he's got to earn that.
He does have work to do because and I know we didn't really get to talk about it much, but you said it, Thomas. Next year, a lot of people are coming for the belt. There's a lot of potential big matches in the beginning of the year, depending on what Christian wants to do with the division. We may see fireworks right off the bat. So I am super excited about
Gold Leader's doing what I used to do with my spelling test back in the day. I'm writing all the words 5 times that I get wrong.
K, K, K,
5 times,
Z.
5 times, and then I'm testing myself again.
But Thomas, I know, this has been one of those years of doing all this stuff, and it was your first year and everything like that. I love meeting the major. I love hanging out with Thomas Harper, but honestly, Spectacular, hanging out at that bar, going to the Denny's and will be probably my most memorable thing I've ever done. And hanging out with you, and again, we've only talked here. That was the first time we ever met. And so thank you for trusting us that we didn't, we're going to do anything crazy. But honestly, that was the highlight of Spectacular for me, was hanging out with you, getting to talk to you. And you were telling me while we were at the bar, we're doing a show right now in the middle of the bar talking while we were drinking. It was awesome. But I appreciate everything you've done for this year, for the community, for the Schmoedown, for us as fans. Thank you very much, Thomas. It's been a pleasure getting to know you this year. And I just can't wait to see what you do next year as far as character work, as far as defending the belt. It's going to be fun. And I'm glad you found the fun in it again. That's very important. So thank you, man. I want to say it for me.
No,
It's been
thanks.
awesome.
And Allison, we've only recently met, but you guys, Shug, Matt, you guys have been there. Chris, if you're still shirking your work duties and watching this, folks like you guys have been there for me the entire way. And while at times I understand like people root for different people and stuff like that, the bottom line has been that outside of all the noise of actual competition and matches and stuff like that, you guys have been a constant, giving me a platform at the start when people didn't know me other than just this, the trivia competition that was attached to my name, but give me a chance to actually have a voice and talk to people directly. And then throughout the year, like continuing to have me on and just be really gracious and good and kind to me the entire season.
We love
And
hanging out
so,
with you, Thomas.
yeah, I really appreciate that. It means a
You're
lot.
amazing.
I was telling Shug, one of my biggest regrets about the other weekend was I couldn't come in sooner and leave later, because I would have loved to spend more time with everyone. I literally had like a 36-hour window, and that was it. And I wanted to
no, it's the highlight.
Saul, it's your fault that you
I don't think
abandoned it.
Saul enjoyed. Well, I don't think Saul enjoyed
Saul
the
doesn't
fact
want to be
that Jeff
reminded about
never
being
made
left
it,
behind.
so he got stuck.
Well, he broke his phone celebrating with Thomas, and then
Yeah,
when
that's
he and
true.
Chris left him.
It is my fault. Yeah, that's my fault directly.
This has been so much fun for me too, Thomas. You're a great competitor, great person. I've really enjoyed like just chatting with you and getting to know you and starting to understand something about Star Wars a little bit, because it's just how it is. And your letters should be coming in the mail soon, so keep an eye out.
Thank you very much.
Get those out.
Well, Jeff did pay, but you were still stranded for a while.
You did. And Brennan Meyer, Harper is a gentleman of the highest quality. Absolutely. I will say it, when I heard Harper speak for the first time when we interviewed him, I got very excited, which I normally don't do when men talk, but I did. Because no, not like that, you guys. Get out of here.
I get it.
No, but Thomas has been everything about Thomas I love. And I know people talk character and all this stuff. Look, at the guy's amazing, and I can't wait to see Hill Thomas. It's going to be great. I got a sense of what's coming, so it's really good. And so just remember, it's a show, you guys. Remember, it's a show.
Yes,
it's okay to get a little a little excited, a little snappy, but it is a show. Yeah. And this isn't the real person that we know who served in the military, has a family, who's a father. He's doing it for us to have fun, and is a show. Yeah. Just remember.
Oh, that. What happens if your kids like Star Trek better? What are we gonna do?
Oh, one of them already told me.
One of them already told us she doesn't like Star Wars.
Well, yeah, Shug is just going to expand his family at that point.
That's why you had a second one, just in case. You had a second one.
I mean,
backup options.
There you go. They could come live with Uncle Shug. But Thomas, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking your time out of your day to hang out with us. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
And we are going to keep doing the Friday stuff, just hanging out. So you want to pop on?
Hang out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more just hangouts, not too much Schmoedown talk.
And you and Gold Leader talking shit.
Yeah, we may not win Feud of the Year, but
you should absolutely win.
You should absolutely.
It should be you guys and then him and his mom. But I did want to ask you something, Thomas. I have not got to ask you this before you leave.
Sure.
Me and Chris talk about this last time. You won the belt. Obviously you won it a couple of days before, a week before or something, but the match aired on a Friday. We did that show, and then Gold Leader pops that video in. Why didn't you just stop talking to us then? Because honestly, now that I think about it, that is such a dick move we pulled on you. Okay, we're gonna invite Gold Leader on. He plays this video, and your face when the video comes down, you're just like,
what do you do with that? Yeah.
But I want to say thank you, because you could have just been like, don't ever message me again, you guys. I'm done with you.
Sometimes you just gotta lean into it.
Thomas Harper, the Major. Thank you, man. You're the best.
Thank you so much.
I'll get the last word here. I'm not gonna plug anything, but I'm gonna reiterate: get Brennan his belt.
Get Brennan his belt.
All right. I'm out. Thanks, guys.
See you, Major.
See y'all later.
Have a good one. The Major, Thomas Harper. He's awesome. Yeah, he is awesome.
Before we sign off, because I know we're getting about to the 2-hour mark, and we were wanting to do an hour and a half, but Thomas is awesome. So, Shug, we even said we're like it's Thomas. We'll make an exception for 2 hours because it's Thomas.
Exactly, but he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
You go ahead and cut off the Major when he's cutting his promo. Exactly. Go right ahead. Exactly. No, thank you, sir.
But this is next week will be our last show of this year. Well, there's a chance there's 2 next week. We'll see. But if not, next week will be our last show of the year, and we're going to take a break until about 2 weeks before the awards, whenever that may be. We got some changes coming along. Nobody's leaving. Want to make that clear. No one is leaving, but we got some really fun changes coming along for you guys and we hope you stay along for the ride. We really love doing this, and we wanted to expand it. And like Shug mentioned earlier, we had a meeting last night about how can we make this more fun, and I think that's going to be really big in how we move forward and go forward. And I'm really excited for you guys to see what we got cooking. I won't say who next week's guest will be. I'll say, it's a big one, or guests, because it's
there's a possibility of a midweek show,
and it would be back-to-back big guests. So so I just want
quit hyping me up so much, guys. I'm not that big of a deal yet.
But keep an eye on our socials. Spin from the Reel right there, down there. Spin from the Reel on Twitter, and just keep an eye out for that. And I want to say thank you for Allison for such an amazing first show as an official host of Spin from the Reel. Glad to have you a part of the family.
It was fun. I had a good time.
Yes,
happy to be here.
Let's go. Let's get that out there. Get Brendan his belt. And before we get off, thank you, Matt, for the great year. I know this isn't our last show, but I just want to say thank you. It's been a great year hanging out with you, man, and Chris, and I can't wait for the future. We came up with some good ideas last night, and I'm really excited to everybody to see what we do. And I do want to say Thomas is right. Let's get back to having fun.
Yeah,
this is what MTS is about: fun. Let's get back to that, having a good time, laughing, joking, having fun with each other. So thank you very much, Allison. Amazing. Can't wait to work with you. Can't wait to keep working with you, and you're doing an awesome job so far. So before we get out of here, Matt, where can people find you at?
At WAPmovies_Matt on Twitter, at mthomas1094 on Insta, and always on here. I got a ton of reviews dropping within the next 24 hours. I literally have in the next 24 hours, I have Nightmare Alley, Spider-Man No Way Home, Kingsman, and there might be one more that's slipping my mind right now. I can't think. No, that may be it. I think that's. Oh, and then Nick has a Licorice Pizza review dropping. I already had mine, but Nick will be doing his. He went and saw it, so Nick's going to be having his own Licorice Pizza review dropping. So that.
And make sure to check out Matt's West Side Story. He raves about it, and I'm going to check it out now because
it's almost at 1,000 views.
There we go. I'm going to go check it out because Allison missed watching it because.
She went back
about it. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Watched it.
That's right. Yep.
Absolutely.
Chris has called it his favorite film of the year. I have called it my favorite film of the year. Jeff is even putting it in consideration for his favorite film of the year. And a lot of us are willing to throw around that M word we all know as masterpiece for it. So
there you go.
Allison,
go
ahead. I don't give a shit. So I wrote.
Also, where can the people find you at?
You can find me right here at Spin from the Reel on Twitter at Allison Salamone, SALAMONE. And you can find me on Instagram, Allison_Salamone. Every now and then I may pop up over with the boys on Flick and Reel with good old Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade. Yeah. And then whoever else you want me to come hang out, I'll come hang out with you. I do the Friday night hangs. Okay, whatever. This is what I do. It's not fun.
There you go. And you can find me, Suge Knight 323 at Twitter, Suge Knight 1223 at Twitch. I'm going to be back on Twitch playing more video games now that we don't have MTS. So come hang out with me. I'm going to be playing some more Magic tournaments.
Maybe losing me and Madden again.
No, we're not playing Madden ever again. I hate that game.
Fun story. Suge rage quit real quick.
And you can also find me on.
I cannot see that whatsoever.
No, never. And you can find me also on TikTok. Chris Anthony Lopez. You can find him on Twitter. I don't know his handle though. I always forget it.
See Anthony Lopez.
Tick
there
boom.
You go.
Tick boom is I can tell you right now, my top
find me on for Chris's sake in a future episode where we talk about the Rocketeer. Having that production meeting right now. Just letting you know. Gotta get on that.
There you go.
She production meeting in the middle of the show. Gotta love it. She's already picked up on it.
Right.
And with
thank you very much.
Remember, spin from the reel and not the peg. Have a good night.